Hello there. Today I'm going to be doing an Ocarina of Time Randomizer Run, and I want to explain first what a Randomizer Run is. So if you're familiar with the game Ocarina of Time, nothing is changed in the layout of the game. So going from one entrance to another will always get you to where you're supposed to go, but the contents of the chests are different. It's the chests and all the like the freestanding items, the items that NPCs give you that contribute to 100%, like songs and stick and nut upgrades, for instance. Those are all put into a big pool and redistributed randomly. And what that does is it makes the flow of the game different. Also, the starting location is changed. You might notice that the menu's a little different, the music's different, and the sound effects are different. That is cosmetic changes. I've also applied those. And I have some starting items. You can notice below me there's a tracker. I will be trying to update that as I go along. I start with the song The Nocturne of Shadow, which right now we're in Season 5 of Ocarina of Time Randomizer, like the races they do on SRL. And in the first 3 seasons, everyone always went to Zelda to get Zelda's Lullaby as the first thing they did. So just to cut that out as a quality of life change, they just gave you that song check. And I have a medallion, that's the light medallion. It's a different one every time, a medallion or stone, but you always get one for free because you get that for turning adult. Alright. But yeah, so what I'm going to have to do is go through the game and figure out sort of where the items are. And the items are distributed such that there's logic. So in the most basic example, when you start the game normally, you can go to the Lost Woods and the Kokiri Forest, and that's all you can do until you get the Kokiri Sword, which lets you go to the Deku Tree. So what the game does is it takes all the chests you can go to, fills them with items, and if you can't go to more checks afterwards, you can't unlock more progress, then it will re-roll until you can, and it does that until you can beat Ganon. So it's designed in a way such that you can always beat it without skips or glitches, and I'm gonna be trying to do that. So without further ado, I will start, and there's a lot to explain. I will just kind of explain it as I go along, because this has been a pretty long introduction. But yeah, ready, and I haven't seen any of this before. If I were to do this in a marathon setting, I would have someone sort of vet the seed to make sure it's not a crazy seed. They sort of have a saying, every seed can be done in 4 hours. My estimate's going to be 3.5 hours. And if we get close to that, I will probably just pull up the spoiler log and start cheating, but I will try to... It shouldn't be a problem for most seeds to do them in 3.5 hours. So that's what I'm aiming. Alright, now without any further ado, let's go. Alright, so I am starting as a child. You're not usually supposed to get here as a child. It's actually banned in the rule set to go into Gerudo. So there's nothing really there for me, though I could sneak if I was able to use glitches, which you're not allowed to use in this rule set. I would be able to sneak into some Gerudo stuff early, so we're just going to do this stuff. There's a art piece in this box, and it's magic. It's pretty good. You have to be a little careful, because I want to keep this Cucko from jumping off, and if I don't pick it up quickly, it'll just jump off, because I have to go all the way over here. So these two checks, it's actually really good to start over here. There's a check behind the waterfall and a check in that box. All the checks that you can get without any items are called Sphere Zero. That's 50 rupees. I would normally skip that, but I need some for the fishing game. This is a pretty good place to get it. All the checks in Sphere Zero are more likely to be items, just because you need a certain set of items to beat the game, and if the items are locked behind stuff, they're harder to get. So it's harder for there to be stuff locked behind stuff, so it just makes it harder to finish the game. So Death Mountain Crater, Path to Queen Goma. So it's just more likely to be in Sphere Zero because anything can be in Sphere Zero. So you usually want to check early Sphere stuff sooner. So that hint, Death Mountain Crater, Path to Queen Goma. There's 5 hints that are paths to. So an item in Death Mountain Crater is going to be directly responsible for beating Queen Goma, which usually means Kokiri Sword, big pose, leads to a piece of heart. Oh no, that's bad. Oh, it's slow, it's not the worst. So there's a bunch of other hints. So there's so the big pose check is one of the checks that's like not super obnoxious to get, but it's kind of hard because you need Epona, which is a specific song. That's a heart, so I don't need that. So there's on all these gossip stones there's hints, and some of them are always going to be there. Those are like the really bad checks, like Skull Mask, the Bigoron Trading Quest, the final frog hint, which you need all the child songs. There's always going to be a hint for those because they're really hard to get. But other ones, there's like a pool of them that they can be. So big pose I know I don't have to do, and it's sort of just random which ones you get. Right here I'm doing fishing, another Sphere Zero check, and I set the Scarecrow song. You do need Scarecrow song to beat Fire Temple some of the time, so it was a really common play in the earlier seasons to just always come over here and do like a Lupa's Child. Just get these like out of the way checks all done at the same time. Alright. Nothing here but magic, but that's fine. It also lets you check the hint stone, so hints are very powerful in these settings because it tells you what you need to do. Like I know I'm gonna have to do Deku Tree, and I know where the item to do Deku Tree is, or it could be along the way. So like if I don't find Kokiri Sword in Death Mountain Crater, this might be a little slow, but there's a check out here that's Sphere Zero that I want to get, and it will bring me to Lon Lon Ranch as well. But yeah, so like if I don't find the item in Death Mountain Crater, I could find, let's say, the song in Death Mountain Crater. It's likely that would tell me where the Sacred Forest Meadows path. Like if I get Zelda's Lullaby in Death Mountain Crater, sorry, I'm trying to type down since if I find Zelda's Lullaby in Death Mountain Crater, then that means Zelda's Lullaby likely gets me to the Kokiri Sword. So like it's in a magic check or something that needs Zelda's Lullaby. It could be a very long chain, it could be an immediate chain, the item could just be there, but it's sort of just like a hint to get me along the way. And sometimes the hints aren't necessary. So So some things you can do out of logic. A lot of the rules are there to stop you from going too far out of logic, but some of the rule set allows you to go out of logic. And a big part of Randomizer is figuring out, at least randomized races, is figuring out when you need to be in the logic and when you need to be out of the logic to go faster. So you're not going to see any crazy game-breaking glitches. It defeats the purpose of Randomizer when you don't need any of the items, because this is one of those speed games where you don't really need the items if you know all the tricks, but every once in a while there's a trick that sort of just lets you get stuff out of logic. Oh, you might notice that I'm rolling everywhere. Well, rolling and backwalking. There's a ton of movement options in Ocarina of Time, and they're all good for different things. Backwalking is faster over long distances, usually. Rolling is faster over short distances, where you might need to change direction. Alright, this is Zelda's Lullaby. So I'm going to be using all them, and hopefully using the right ones. Not necessarily the best in terms of speed, but I try. So you might have noticed that I went to that... The girl gives you a song, and that's what she does in the normal game, but it's a different song. So all the song checks are with other song checks, so they're mixed around in their own little pool. And the Skulltula that I got is always a Skulltula. A little peek here. And that's sort of intentional. So all the Skulltulas aren't mixed around. There's separate settings for that, but we don't use them. And all the songs are with other songs. Songs are very powerful, so it sort of makes points of interest to have the songs always be with songs. And it just makes it a little bit more skill intensive. Just to have some checks be more valuable than others intrinsically. And then there's certain points where songs stop mattering. But usually really early on you want all the song checks you can get, because songs let you warp around and open up a lot of places, so just getting as many as you can early is usually pretty good. So I'm going to go to the market. So as far as skulls go, there's no 100 skull check. 100 skull check is programmed to not go away, so you can just keep getting it. Now it'd really break some things if you were able to get certain items an infinite number of times, so they just kind of got rid of it. So the most I will have to get is 50, but that's very unlikely. I'm going to do this mini game. But there's a hint. There's always going to be a hint for 30, 40, and 50 skulls, so the most skulls I'll have to get without knowing what they are is 20. So sometimes there is a hint for 20 as well. It's just money. I'm gonna grab this mask. There's a hint for the mask, the skull mask, like I said, but doesn't hurt to grab this. If I get the hint and I find out that it's bad, I just won't do anything with it. Ocarina of Time teaches Song of Time. Where's that? So that's vanilla. That's good. Cuckoos is Piece of Heart. Already got that. Flames in the Royal Tune is Goron Tunic, and Spirit Temple is Foolish. So Foolish means there's no items there, or if there's items there, they're not useful items. So none of the... If I find... Megaton Hammer in the Spirit Temple, that tells me that there's nothing hidden in fire and I don't have to do fire. But usually it just means there's nothing there. If it says barren, then that 100% means there's nothing there. And I should also mention, while we're here, that I got into the Door of Time without having any stones. So this setting's called Open Door of Time, and that sort of just like lets us get in here. Right now I'm looking at the medallions. So this is going to tell me which dungeons I have to do. But yeah, just to keep it open, the Door of Time is open so I can go between adult and child, and a couple other things are open just to make it more open. Fire and forest. I'm gonna save. So, when I was a child, I started at Gerudo Valley. That's always where I'll reset if I save warp as child. As adult, there's a different save warp place. So I just want to figure out where that is. And, okay, this is a pretty good place, actually. 40 Skulls is Goron City. Alright, that's annoying because I don't want to get 40 Skulls, but Goron Sword is good. Alright. I should mention that all these chests are small. One of the settings is chest size matches contents, so I know that there's not going to be an important item in these chests because they're small. We're looking for big chests. But, like I said before, you can go out of logic. Bomb chews are not considered important items, so you can find bomb chews in small chests, which is why I'm opening them. Until I find bomb bag, I'm basically just going to be opening small chests because finding bomb chews is a really big sequence break. Right, so here you see Mido, and he's not going to let us pass. So this is one of the tricks that you can do, is you can skip Mido, if I can get the angle right. And this is allowed, but now we're out of logic. So we're going up here to get a song. The game doesn't expect us to have this song, so we might be able to skip some things with it, but it's usually just better to get the song and worry about logic later. Do some precise movement here. Kill that guy, and then jump. And I can get up here and just skip the maze. Big rupee. And same hit. And this will just let us get to the Sacred Forest Meadow and get another song. Like I said before, song's really good. Now the Forest Temple is up in there, and we do need to beat the Forest Temple, but I don't have any items to get in there. Yeah, to get in there. Monument of Time is Saria's song. So, a big appeal of warp songs is they can get you chains, so this warp song leads me to here, which lets me get another warp song. Just checking the top of that for an item. And just, if this was another warp song, it could have maybe given me another song. Song of Storms. I don't know if I'm gonna make this. If not, it's not a big deal. It just kind of wastes a bit of time. Oh, I did not want to grab that. Very intense fire temple. There's one check I can get here, but it makes sense to me to get it. Because this is a temple I have to do, so might as well just get it. And if it's a key, I can look at maybe one more check. You tend to want to prioritize dungeons because you always have to do the dungeons to get the medallions. So if you find the items in dungeons, if you're lucky enough to find the items in dungeons, it ends up being a super fast seed, and everyone else... Hyrule Forest is a foolish choice. So we have Zelda's Lullaby. So this is one of the checks that we couldn't do without this song, so that's one of the reasons why you want to get the song. There's a lot of checks like this that we'd like skip over and we'd have to come back, but since we just have the song, we don't have to do that. We have to go fast and get everything while we're here. Might have done this as a kid. If you just side hop through this room, you don't have to fight any of these guys. They're kind of tough. Alright. Minuet of Forest. That will let us get back to the forest really fast. I need to mark on the tracker that I have Zelda's Lullaby, but we're just going to go back out here because we did a bunch of stuff with the forest, all that we can do. But we still need to do graveyard stuff. If I wake up this Poe, he might hit me off this gravestone. No, he doesn't help me out. That way I don't have to pull it. In this box, there's an item, hover boots. Alright, so if I can get that, that's a really good item. And we do need to do Shadow Temple. So just being able to sort of peek and see that is a really big help. Because now I know where a very important item is. And I know to prioritize that and come back here. And there's a way we can sequence break and get that with Boomerang. Hopefully it comes up, because it'd be cool to show off. But if it doesn't, you can get that with Long Shot or with a beam. So Bombs or Scale as Child would help us do it. I'd rather not need the beam because it requires me going Child. Jump slash at the right time, you get to like skip that ledge. Makes it a little faster. Yeah, if I have to do it with a beam, it's really slow because I have to go there as Child, set it up, then come back as Adult. But we have the Warp Song, so it's not too bad. Ooh, bow. So that's a very important item. You need the bow, magic, and light arrows to beat Ganon. They're usually required for dungeons as well, but you always need the bow, light arrows, and magic. If nothing else, you will always need those 3 items. You might know that there's a bow and 2 upgrades to it, 2 like quiver upgrades. In the normal game, you need the bow to do Horseback Archery, which is one of the upgrades, and the shooting game in Kakariko, which is the other. In Randomizer, those are changed to be progressive. So if there's another bow, that bow is now an upgrade. That way I'll never like get the second, I'll never get the 50 quiver first and be unable to get it later. I guess they're progressive in the main game, but like, for instance, if you got the long shot first in the vanilla game and then got the hook shot later, you would never be able to get the long shot because the hook shot would override it. So all items like that are made so that they always move you up. Sorry, I did a precise jump to grab that thing on the ledge, sort of out of logic. But that was a wallet upgrade. It just like gives me more money. A couple items, very few, are locked behind wallets, but it's very convenient to get it super early. That way I can get a bunch of money and I won't... If I ever get a big rupee, then I just won't have to worry about managing my money, because I'll just have a ton of it. It's sort of like a joke as a kid, just like how bad money is in this game. It just doesn't help you get many things. You just always have a ton of money, but in Randomizer, when you're trying to go fast, money can be important. So this is the same game as Child, but random. It's not too much harder, and the arrows go a little faster, so it kind of makes it a little different, but it's like it's basically the same game. Alright. Couple more checks. Looking for a rupee. That way I can go in the shop and buy. Oh, this is not here. Is adult. Whatever. If I get around to it, I'll get around to it. I can buy the shield, and that will help my movement and damage. Little weird, but shield's actually pretty useful. Oh, I missed that. That's annoying. But I can grab it again. Time is serious. Alright, and we found our bomb bag. That's a very important item. There's always a 20 rupee in this box, so we're gonna grab that. Actually, let's go out this way. Because just gonna equip some stuff while we're here. There's a bombable hole in Kakariko. Somewhere around here. And now I can go in it. So in the normal game there's a 200 rupee chest in here. You might have never found this as a kid, you might have. You don't really need to, but you have to check all these little grottos, and I know where they all are, so if you're new to Ocarina of Time and are looking to play a randomizer, you might have to look up some of these checks, because there's a bunch of them that you might not have ever seen before, but it only takes one or two before you're like... one or two runs before you just kind of know where they all are. Though it certainly happens to everyone early on that they just like don't know where a check is, and it has the item that they need, and they just have to like look it up in the spoiler log after being lost for a while. I'm gonna equip my shield here. Drop that bomb to open that. It looks a little weird that I'm opening that and not going in, but it will be revealed later. Trying to peek at a chest through here. I think I messed it up. Whatever. I'll do it later. So you might notice, if you remember which dungeons I have to do, that... Oh, really? That the Dodongo's Cavern is not one of them. But I'm still going in here. Dodongo's Cavern, once I get the bomb bag, I can do the whole thing. And there's a ton of checks in here, and it's really fast. So even though this is going to give me a stone, not a medallion, and all I need are the medallions to beat the game. I don't know if I explained that. Yeah, the goal is very outside Hyrule Castle. Okay. The goal is to get all 6 medallions, and that will open the bridge to Ganon's castle, and I can go defeat Ganon. So I don't have to go into these stone dungeons, which are like the child dungeons, basically. But the mirror shield's in here. You know, there still could be items in here, so I want to go in here because the items are fast. Can I? This is a hard trick to do on PC. It's hard for me because I have to use a C stick to do it, which means I have to mash up on the C stick because that's the only C-up's the only button that isn't a button on the GameCube controller. And I have to use the stick. Of the other things that are... Oh, I didn't mark off bombs. The other things that are notable... And the Shield I got on the Virtual Console makes aiming harder. It's like hard baked into it that the dead zone is different and it makes it harder. I don't know why they did it that way, but you need like a special adapter to fix it, and I don't have it because it's like expensive and like there's 1 or 2 people that make them, so you have to request it, and I just haven't gotten around to it. So when I am unable to aim at some point in the future and I'm mad about it, that's why. It's because it's impossible to aim on VC. No Johns, it's just actually harder. I was trying to get by this guy. So you might have noticed I'm skipping a couple Skulltulas, but I'm only going for the fast ones because you only need 20. Unless a hint tells you otherwise. You just sort of assume you only need 20, and then when you figure out otherwise, you go for the others. Alright, we're about done with Dodongo's Cavern. Okay. Oh. Well, at least I get to show off this trick now. So this is a ground jump. If you roll into a bomb, it kind of like locks you in place, and then the next time you do a side hop or backflip, you just kind of jump vertically. And that lets you get up small ledges like that. It's one of the glitches that's allowed. I'm not exactly sure why that one's allowed. Maybe it's because it's like very easy to do. But for whatever reason it's allowed, and I'm not gonna question it, I'm just gonna do it. Right. I'm just gonna jump down because that's gonna work, and it looks cool when you just jump down and land. We are now going to the boss. I could just like leave. It's not that, like, getting to the boss from the beginning of the dungeon isn't that hard, and I don't need to necessarily do any more, but there's 2 checks here, so I want to get them both. There's a Skulltula in the next room if I wanted to keep going. It's a little slow though, so I'm not going to do it. If I knew that I needed to get 30 skulls or something, I'd probably just get it, because it's not that bad, but yeah, I tend to play a bit more thorough and just get everything, especially for a marathon style run, where, you know, skipping a minute or 2 check might help me get from 3rd place to 2nd in a race or whatever, but if it has the item I need, it could also take just an hour to get back to here, and I'd rather lose a little bit of time up front to not have a catastrophic time loss later. You know, play a little conservatively to not go too slow. Alright, this is the easiest boss in the game. All you have to do is throw bombs in its mouth, and it's dead in 2 hits. I don't know which of these stones it's gonna be, but it doesn't really matter for the stones. The medallions give you different things. So like if I get all 3 of the forest, fire, and water medallion, I get a song at Kakariko Village, and sometimes that's required. Ooh, the 1 rupee. There's only 1 rupee that's a green rupee that you can get from a chest. So that's the only of them in the game, so it's neat to see. Alright. Yeah, so now it could come up, this is an all dungeons. So this is why I drew up this hole in the wall earlier. So the next time I'm around here I can kill this, and I don't have to waste time waiting for the bomb to blow up. So now we're going to make our way up the mountain to Goron City. So this is what the chest I was trying to peek at earlier. I'll just... Alright, it's small. If I was able to peek through, I could have just, like, skipped that, but... Whatever. It didn't take that much time. So there's a bunch of hidden holes that are locked by the Song of Storms. There's one in Kokiri Forest that I won't be... that I won't be doing because I know Kokiri Forest doesn't have... I know it's barren. So I'm just not going to get it. Slash that Skulltula. Fall down, grab this ledge, and climbing up I can grab it. And I aim my bow at this bomb. Oh, I missed. Oh, I did hit it. That's weird. So that was supposed to blow up that bomb so it knocks the rolling Goron out. That's fine, we'll get him on the way back. I hate that guy because you have to know the timing and it's kind of annoying. If you mess up, it just wastes so much time if you mess up. I'm gonna blow these up. I'd like to slash my sword. Okay. 30 Skulltulas is a red rupee. Another bomb guy. So I'm slashing my sword to get this upward camera angle to look at this chest. If I can see that it's a big chest, then I'll know to come back, but it's a small chest so I don't need to come back with the hammer. The hammer or 2 strengths let you get in there, but I don't have to come back, so just like having that information is really good. Alright. So you can get this guy with bombs, bomb chews, or the arrow, or you can use strength to pick up the flower. So I got the sword at the Song of Storms in Death Mountain Crater. I know Death Mountain Crater is on the path to Queen Goma, which means I'm gonna do this other check here, and if I don't find the Kokiri sword in it, that means the Song of Storms is locking oh, that's different. Is that Deku Shield? Yeah. Alright, so I'm gonna leave the area and come back just to get my time back. I thought that was a heart or something when I first peeked at it. But I'm gonna be sort of prioritizing Song of Storms checks, because it's usually the song. I did peek at this earlier, but I just want to double check. Arrows. Hopefully I can make it before burning up. If I burn up, it's not that big a deal, it's just slow. Yeah, it's weird game logic that I can be in a burning crater, go underground, and it just resets my heat timer. Okay, Slingshot might be the path to Goma, because that is also required in logic to get to Goma. So that might be just like a useless hint, because you can skip that. 50 skulls, that's a bomb. But as is, I'm still probably gonna prioritize Song of Storms checks, but not as much. this fairy fountain while we're here, and then we're sort of out of easy checks to do, so I might just go back child at this point. Actually, no. Yeah. There's another hint stone out here. I will grab that before going to do lake checks. Fairy Forest is a foolish choice. Actually, so I can get the Scarecrow song, but not much else here. But there's hints that I can get. So I want to get those. So now that I have bombs, I can go to Child and get the beans. Goron City is the path to Volvagia. What did I get in Goron City? Oh. There was a bomb bag there, but that was a bomb-locked bomb bag? Hyrule Field is on the path to Bongo Bongo. Okay. So I can do Hyrule Field as an adult, and that will get me back to Child. So I'm gonna go do that now. I know where the hover boots are, so I'm still a couple items from Bongo, so I don't know which one it is, but it's just like faster to do this as adults right now, and you know, if it's the boomerang to get those hover, I guess it wouldn't be the boomerang to get the hover boots, but if it's something that helps me do anything else, like you usually want to just get all the items you can, because that keeps you from skipping over stuff later. Like if I need Din's Fire to get into Shadow Temple, even though I can't do anything in Shadow without the hovers, really. Din's Fire could help me light torches in Spirit Temple, or, you know. Most items are good in more than one place. Right, so I already got that grotto, so I can skip it. And like, if an item in that grotto was something super good early on, it's up to me to remember where I got everything, which I'm really bad at. But a lot of people are, like, if you have a really good memory, you can sort of figure out and know where everything you got was. There's one more check. Oh, there's two more checks. So there's, I won't be able to get it, but there's a check I can peek at over here, so I'm gonna do that just to know what's in there. Oh, there's extra fences in Hyrule Field as adults, if you never explored this when you played this game as a kid. That's one of the pose. So I mentioned you need a Pona to get the big pose. You can actually randomly get a big Poe that you can catch as when you're not on a Pona, but like I said, it's random, and you need to know how to kill them with bomb shoes. Because the ones that you have to catch run away from you, they don't circle around you like that. That's Din's Fire. Okay. So that's the item I need, but I need 2 scales or iron boots to get it. So I know where that is whenever I get those items, but I can't get it right now. There's nothing in here. Sacred Force Meadows, Path to Twinrova. What was that? Zelda's Lullaby? I haven't gotten the child song for that yet, so that'll be a good thing to get. So the thing that's weird that I'm going to do is I'm going to head right out to Ganon's castle and then just turn around and leave. This sets the time of day to early night. So when I go child, I will be at the market at night, and that will let me get another check. And then when I warp to the graveyard, the Dampe digging game at the child graveyard can only be done in the early night for like an hour of in-game time. Which is... I don't know if it's exactly now, but there's a very short window where you can do it. So this is just setting that up so I can get this check and not worry about routing time of day or having to wait. So I'm gonna go... I think I got a hint for the Hyrule Castle Fairy. I don't have anything written down, so maybe I didn't, but... Oh, I might go and get it. No, that will ruin the time of day, so let's not worry about it. So I get this white dog to follow me. This is Richard. And I bring him to his mom. She's happy and she gives me an item. And then there's also the Bomb Chew bowling game that I can do now that I have Bomb Bag. Oh, a dog! I didn't want a dog to be following me. But it's fine. So she's gonna... the items this gives you are random. And the order that the game gives them to you is random, but one of the quality of life changes in randomizers that always gives you the 2 real items first. So you can just play the game, see what they are, and leave. So I mentioned I was going to the graveyard. I'm going to go to the minuet first just to get the song, and then warp away. And the reason I'm doing that is because if this song is important, might as well get it. I might warp back, but like the song is more important to get than it is to get this a minute earlier or whatever it ends up being. Okay, so we got the Requiem. I'm gonna open up Barwell. So Sacred Force Meadow Twinrova is probably Requiem. I'm gonna open this and not necessarily do it, because Requiem tells me that we might need to do Child Spirit, because that's the only way to get out to that dungeon, and like I said, I want to prioritize dungeons if I can. That being said, I did want to get magic beans, and there's a bean patch out in Spirit Temple. So if you go a certain distance from the wall, you'll still hold the stick, and that's a good way to save sticks by breaking the stick and still holding it. So you see me try to set that up. It's one of the glitches that's allowed, just because it's like very easy to do. And it's sort of something you can do playing casually. Like, you're gonna accidentally do this some of the time, so they just allowed it. So I got all these Skulltulas with one stick. Alright, now I'm gonna head to Zora's River. To get the beans. Like I said before, backwalking, a little faster, a little less interesting, and you can't really see where I'm going, but gotta go fast. These rocks are sort of notorious for not blowing up when you put a bomb right next to them. I'm not sure why. They just have really weird hit detection. I'm gonna grab this chicken and bring it with me. That'll be important later. I'm gonna buy 3 beans. I probably won't need this many, but I usually overbuy while I have the money. Because I can set it up in Child Lake to get onto the roof. Like, if Hookshot's up there, I might need it. And since I have the song, I can get to the lake pretty quickly again, so I might do that. Just sort of being thorough. Oh, and strength is here, so I'm glad I came here. This was Storms within Death Mountain Crater is the path to Goma, so maybe Kokiri Sword is strength locked? So while I'm here, I'm just going to be a little bit thorough and get... There's another stone, a couple hint stones up here, and a grotto. The river in Zora's Fountain is sort of hard to get back to. Zora's River is on the path to Phantom Ganon. Okay, well I just got strength and I'm getting something else. Hookshot. Glad I came here. So what was that? Strength and Hookshot. So both of those are needed to get to Phantom Ganon, so... Okay, there's path. I'll already do that. There's 2 of each hint. So I will see some duplicates, but if I see 3 of the same hint, like 3 Death Mountain Crater hints, that means there's 2 items in there, because 2 of them are pointing at one item and 2 of them are pointing at another. I already have all 5 of those hints, so that won't happen, but it is important to keep track of how many duplicates you've seen. Drop down here and... And I'm gonna enter Zora's domain. There's 2 checks in here. Might as well get them. Because like I said, this place is just so far out of the way otherwise. But yeah, after I do this, I can do all of Forest Temple and Child Spirit. So I'm gonna do those. Those are both Medallion dungeons, so I have to do those no matter what. Alright, so this is gonna look a little weird. I'm going to start the diving minigame and turn around. Death Mountain Trails of Foolish Choice. Okay, I think I already got all those checks, but... good to know at least. So the two things you need to get here are lighting all the torches and the diving ring. So I'm going to come down here and I'm going to stand so that when I put my stick away, it touches that flame. And that's going to do something called flame storage. So what the game does is it has object pooling for the stick, which basically means there's only one stick. When you break your stick and pull out another one, it just sort of reactivates it and deactivates it. Same thing with putting it away. So when I pull it out again, I'm going to pull out a stick right back where it was. It's going to be at the torch and it's going to teleport to you. Which means it's going to hit the torch and get lit, even though I'm not standing near the torch at all. And that's just going to let me light these a little faster. This is one of those tricks that's allowed in the rule set. It's a small chest, so I'm not going to worry about getting it. More nuts and another stick in here. It's important to get sticks when you can. Just only a couple shops let you buy them, and they don't really appear in the wild often, except for a couple sort of static drops like those. So until I get my sword, I'm just going to need to manage them well. Alright. So I know I have to do this, so let's go do it. And it's possible I should have done this earlier, because like I said, it's a song. Leaving this temple gives you a song. I'm just going to enter and leave, and this might have been a good song to get earlier, but turns out it wasn't. I should be marking my tracker better. So I have this song and I've had it for a million years. So I have the beans for that, but I can sort of check. I think that's a purple rupee. So I don't need to plant the beans. But if that was a required item and I planted the bean here, I might not have enough beans for later. That's why I bought 3, just so I would have enough for all my travels. Alright, so this is a spirit temple. On each of the 2 sides you need a key to progress. So there's 2 checks I can get as child, and if I came back here as adult, there's 2 checks I can get as adult, and if the key isn't in... I really wanted to not burn my shield, but that's fine. Yeah, there's 2 checks that I can get, and if neither of them have a key, that means I can't do it as child. And the same thing with adult, there's 2 checks that I can get. If neither of them has the key, then I have to do it as child. So, okay. That gilded chest means it's a key, which means I will be able to do some of Spirit Temple as child, or enough of Spirit Temple as child. So this check looks like you need Boomerang for it, but however the room's laid out, you can just sort of hit it with Slingshot. It's actually easier. so that slingshot way of the hero that might have been actually important. Did I make it back in time? I did not. There's a way you can backflip so that this guy hits the flame. Okay, it worked this time. And then you void out so you don't have to watch the cutscene. Blow this skull up, and you kind of clip through the grate as a child, so you just like go over the skull. Sometimes you just collect it through the wall. Alright, now we're gonna go to the big part of the Spirit Temple. So the way you do this casually is you come here as child, get all the way to the top, collect the second strength, and then that opens up the adult side. It's gonna look somewhat similar, I guess, because we're doing child first, but sometimes like you don't know if child's required at all, or sometimes you have to start as adult in Randomizer. It makes it much more interesting. And I'm not going to pretend I understand how the logic in this temple works. Sometimes you get a hint that's like long shots required because you could mess up the keys if you do them really poorly. So like down here there's the door I just walked through has a key lock, and the game has to take account of the idea that as adult, that was weird rolling up onto that. As adult, you could go down there, use the key, and just like not be able to do anything, just like waste a key as adult. So the logic just has to account for you doing the dumbest thing possible with your keys to not lock you out. So if this check is a key, there's a chance that the logic thinks I need Din's Fire to get this key. So sometimes you can get like, you know, Death Mountain Crater leads to Twin Rova because Death Mountain Crater has Din's Fire. And then you go, oh, I need to go to Shadow Temple because Din's Fire opens up all of Shadow Temple, but all it's really saying is you need this key. Gonna do this flame trick. Gonna pull the stick out and then go through the door, and it's gonna stay lit through the door just barely long enough to get into this room and light this torch. If you don't do that, this room is really slow. You have to. This lets you skip the rupee puzzle. Right. And you can't exit this room very easily, so it's really important to get that first try, otherwise you waste a ton of time. Oh, I don't have shield. Oh. This is gonna be annoying. So I guess I'll try it. There's a safe spot for this guy that I could get to if I could use my shield, but hopefully this works. It does not. How do I set this up? Okay. So I can't do the safe spot. This is sort of just like the casual strat for this guy. Oh. Well, I meant to get those hearts behind him. Whatever. Got enough hearts to take a hit. So this guy does 4 hearts worth of damage, but I have double defense, which is why I only did 2. A little annoying, but that's what I get for burning my shield. I could have, like, scummed my shield, but that would have wasted time. Not that that didn't waste time, but... So I got everything in Child Spirit, which wasn't much, but now we don't have to do it as adults, so it's fine. So I'm gonna come out here and get this fairy fountain, and then probably just go adult. So like I said, I can do all of Forest Temple, and might as well do my dungeons first. Oh. Oh, right. Glad I played the wrong song. So yeah, I actually need to update my tracker. So many items. I need to plant these beans so I can get this item as adult. It's not necessary for Forest Temple, but it will make it faster, and it just like makes a lot of things faster. The hover boots are a really good item, so do this. Two sticks. It's about to turn night. That's sort of annoying, in that I won't be able to get into the castle. So I guess I will waste some time here and get this Skulltula. Just because it looks cool to do. And I'll go grab another Skulltula, because I have to waste time of day anyway. If I talk to the owl, it'll bring me back to the castle, but it'll still be nighttime, so I can't get in there. So might as well get some stuff while I just wait for it. So this is one of the reasons why routing day and night is kind of important, so you don't have to like waste time. But also making use of this time is an important skill to know. Just like knowing that those Skulltulas are there and you can get them both in about that much time of day. So I wanted to wait for the chicken before touching him, because now the bridge is down. If I was here at night at all, I'd have to wait for it to come down, so just waiting a little bit actually saved me time. Alright, I can't get a Kokiri shield here, but that's fine. Alright, so we're an hour in. We haven't done any dungeons, but I mean, we've done a non-required dungeon and half of a required dungeon, so probably a little bit behind schedule, but we have a lot of songs, a lot of warp songs, and that's going to save us time later. And we know where a bunch of items are, so it's not all bad. Alright, so Forest Temple's a little different in Randomizer. So normally in Forest Temple, like in your vanilla playthrough, you're not going to have the bow when you enter it, but in Randomizer you usually don't enter it till you get the bow, because you can't really do anything. You can't really do a ton here without the bow. Bunch of quick skulls here, so I'll get them till I have 20, though I don't think I'll make it. Small chest. So I'm gonna sort of go a slightly different route, but it'll make sense. Hit that guy at the right time to get around him. I hit him at the right time, but I just didn't get around him right. Saves a little bit of time if you do it. Alright. Go up here and kill this enemy. Later in this room, like above me, there's a hole in the ceiling. There's gonna be the bow room. For whatever reason, the enemies in the room above us won't spawn if I don't kill this enemy. So normally in the game you need a key here to even like go through the dungeon, but in Randomizer sometimes there isn't a key here. But you still have to come and do this room, otherwise you just won't be able to get the bow chest later in the dungeon, because for some reason it was programmed that you need to kill that enemy to spawn the enemies in the room above. So normally you would go halfway through the dungeon to get the bow and have to come back to shoot this switch, but since we came in here with the bow, we can just do it. And this chest, you can, even if it's a small chest, you can just hookshot up to it with a precise hookshot. You're like meant to, ooh, strength 2. You're meant to like go up here and do a bunch of stuff from like later in the dungeon. But however, it ends up working out. Oh, I didn't get hover boots. This is fine though. So with the precise setup, I can just hookshot these vines, and that'll save me from having to go around and use the Song of Time. This is one of the tricks that's allowed in... oh, it's in logic in the weekly races, because almost everyone knows how to... like, they expect you to know how to do this if you're in a weekly race, but it's not in logic if you're not in the weekly race, because if you had to do this and you didn't know that this was a thing, you wouldn't like be able to do it, because that's just not a thing you would find casually. With the long shot, it's in logic, because you can just always, it's very easy to get the vines with the long shot, but with just hookshot. Oh, and long shot, speak of the devil. Alright, it's probably a key, yeah. Because I just am missing a key. But you can peek at this. So I drained the well earlier and didn't go down it. It's just faster to go this way because I have to get that chest that the long shot was in anyway. And there's a couple places where the long shot saves you a bit of time. Like I don't have to climb now that I have a long shot. So the rule set, you're not allowed to like go inside blocks, but that block's just always going to be there. So they let you go inside that if you go through the door. Normally you're not supposed to go in objects, like out of bounds or in objects that you would normally not be able to get through. But they allow it here. Alright, so now the rest of this is kind of going to look a bit normal. The speed of these blocks has been... The pushing speed of the blocks is faster. In Randomizer, it's like one of the quality of life changes they added. It's really nice, because pushing those blocks takes forever otherwise. It would be nice to have hover boots, but I can maybe show off something. I wouldn't normally do this in a race because I can't really do it fast, but just to show it off. If you get here and get a precise angle, which is really hard to do on VC. So these are called ESS turns. It's just like the smallest turn you can do. If I can get it. This is why I don't do this in races. Because if you go too far, you just turn. 1, 2, okay. Now if I jump slash, I'll land up here. And it will save me from having to go down a hole in the floor. If you have hover boots, you can just like jump up here. Or you can just use the hover boots to get up here. If I can do the ESS turns fast, it does save time, but I mainly did it now to show it off. Because it takes me forever, because I just can't do it very well. Alright. Hopefully that doesn't mess up the blocks. I kind of pushed it halfway. I don't know if it... Actually should have maybe figured that out, yeah. Oh well. This is what I get for doing something that I don't usually do. To push the blocks again, but whatever. I got to show off a cool trick. Make our way back up and just complete the dungeon. Forest Temple is one of the dungeons where you just need all of the keys to beat it, no matter what. So I'm gonna have to what we call full clear the dungeon, just get all the checks in it. There's other dungeons like Fire Temple where you can see the boss door right as you enter the dungeon, basically. So if the boss key was in that first chest, that one chest I did in Fire Temple, I could potentially just beat Fire Temple only getting that one chest. That's called dipping the dungeon, just like going in and then leaving without full clearing it. Forest Temple, you just have to go buy all the chests anyway, so you just always end up full clearing it. Or you should always full clear it. Unless it's not a required dungeon, but then it makes sense to dip it sometimes. Or like if you don't have the strength to do that block puzzle, you might do the dungeon up to this point and not climb up here because you can't. Sometimes that's worth doing. Oh, open. Right, now we get to the Pose Sisters, the like mini boss of the dungeon. There's 4 of them. You have to shoot these pictures. When the ghost appears, then you have to kill the ghost. The first 2 are exactly the same. Next one's a little interesting. But you have to do a block puzzle, but it's still kind of lame. Because you have to fight it the same way afterwards. But you get items for each of them. And this is another thing where, like, if you always have to do this, which means you always have to go through the dungeon to kill them. Like, there's no item you can get to skip to the end of the temple. You just have to do it all. Right, there's a skeleton here. And, like, this guy wouldn't have been here if there was enemies in the bottom room. Nice upbeat fighting music. These Staffles are one of the tougher enemies in the game, just because their slashes deal a heart's worth of damage to you, and their jump slashes deal 2. And they're kind of turtly. There's certain ways you can manipulate them, so like it's not all bad. But when on your casual playthrough, you probably won't figure out how to get them to drop their guard. So it's a bit annoying casually, but if you fight against them enough, you kind of just know how they work. And you can make them faster. But that's one of the, like, when you have chest-sized matches contents, if you find bombs early like I did, I'm just not going to open the small chests, and the small chests have hearts. So it can be very dangerous if I didn't have double strength, double health, double defense, that's what it's called. The Skulltulas, like, if they just jump slash me, like, both of them jump slash me right in a row, I could just die very quickly. So this is one of the places where you might want to ferry or to get more small chests just for the hearts. Alright, so I got a... I gotta go over here and shoot this switch. So the actual trigger for this switch is that eye melts. So if I had Din's fire, I could just go over there and melt it with that. But you can shoot an arrow through the fire to hit the switch. If I had fire arrows, I could also do that. Just like shoot it with the fire arrows. The game just like didn't want to punish you for shooting the arrow through the switch, melting it, and then not hitting the switch, because that can happen otherwise, so they just like made the trigger the melting of the ice. Ooh, that's a big chest. Wallet. Alright. You almost always open that chest because you're waiting for the ceiling anyway. If that ceiling falls on you, it crushes you and you have to start the room over. Right, these blocks are always in the same position. So not too tough to see how it fits together, but once you do it, you just know it. Oh my goodness, grab the block. I'm gonna set this up, and then the ghost is gonna appear, and we're gonna have to fight it. Oh, he dropped 2 arrows. I'm gonna grab those. So I don't need arrows later. And this is going to bring us back to the beginning of the dungeon. Could have been worse. Sometimes you can get like soft locked against the wall. I can just save and quit, but it's annoying. Here's Meg, the last ghost. This is the horse racing and minigame music. Oh, it's just the minigame music. The horse racing minigame, it has different music, I think. This is supposed to be like mini-boss music. And and the wolf howling is an interesting sound effect for the ghost laughs when you hit it. Normally. You might have noticed I just did a backflip there. That's so I could move a little bit during the cutscene. There's like tiny little movement optimizations like that that I'm trying to do. I'm not the best at them. Where am I? Okay, this run you've got to push the walls and hit all these switches to get to the boss room. I haven't gotten the boss key yet, which means it has to be in this last check. There's a treasure chest in one of the walls. So there'll be a big gilded chest in there, and that's just going to have the boss key. And if it doesn't, that probably means I missed a chest somewhere, which hard to do because you always do this place the same way, but I'm sure I'd find a way to mess this up, no matter how many times I do it. Alright, 17. Alright, so we're an hour 22 in, about to finish Forest Temple. Not the best pace, but sometimes randomizers like that. But we have a ton of items. Like we can, I think we can do all of Spirit now. Yeah. So that's probably just what we're gonna do next. I might get hover boots. Just. I'm actually gonna pause and save. Sometimes this guy soft locks. Like sometimes the lightning effect crashes my console. Happened once or twice before. And just save to be safe. It costs 10 seconds to save, it costs an hour to lose all my progress back to the last time I saved. So the one that, there's two that appear, the one that's brighter and has sound coming from it is the real one. You might not know how I know what the real one is, but it's actually pretty easy to see if you know what to look for. You gotta play tennis with this guy and reflect his lightning back at him. The more damage you deal, the tougher he is, like the more times he'll hit it back. So the first couple times, he just kind of takes it and gets hit, but eventually I'm gonna have to like hit him twice. Oh, missed the quick spin. If you're close enough, you don't have to. Which is why I'm trying to get under him, but sometimes he just goes high up and you have to hit him again. I do the quick spin because it leaves the sword hitbox out longer. Sometimes it hits it in a weird way though, so... normally I wouldn't get this, but for the reasons I mentioned for just safety, I'm gonna get it. Alright. So we have Spirit Medallion. Oh. You might have noticed that all these cutscenes are going by really fast. That's one of the quality of life changes. They just made it so you skip all the cutscenes. Hyrule Field. There's a hint here, and then there's another secret stone that you can get to by climbing up the roots and going around. I'm gonna go up here. Then I'm gonna go get... collecting cocos. I'll get my hover boots. I don't think it'll help me with Spirit Temple, but There's a couple places where it actually does, yeah, so. It's worth getting these first. Like, I'm gonna have to come here and get them anyway. Might as well have them for my travels. I don't have a Song of Time. And there's one room with fire enemies that is way easier if you have hover boots. Alright, so I'm gonna come up here, and with my strength 2 I can push this giant block. And that's basically the only thing in this dungeon that needs strength 2 is just to get in it. They were not very creative with it. But you do need a bunch of items for other things in the dungeon. So you need this song, and a chest will appear on here, and you can hookshot to it. But normally in the game, when you get here, you will have the long shot to long shot over here. But you can get to it with just hookshot if you go to a certain spot in the floor below. That's another thing that's just in logic. That might not be super obvious if you've never played this game before. Or even if you have. It's just like not a thing that comes up because you would always have the long shot by the time you got here in a normal playthrough. Right, gonna collect these rupees. Avoiding the boulders. The rupee in the air that I jump slashed into, that's like one of the worst hitboxes in the game. Half the time you just go through it and you just don't collect it. But it was nice to me here. I'm gonna enter this room on the left side and just like run and roll, because this light's gonna fall, and if I'm over like the right side or the middle, it'll land on me and eat me. And that's slow and annoying. There's an invisible enemy in this room. I'm just gonna try to ignore it. I know sort of like the right way to push the block, the mirror rather, to avoid it. The third one opens the door. The first two give you chests. The last one has another. So that's the invisible enemy is a hand. It's I think it's called a floor master. And if I hit the last sun, a wall master will come down from the ceiling and try to bring me back to the beginning of the dungeon. So I'm just not gonna do that. So in these chests, you won't see it in these settings, but there is a setting that in the normal game there's a bunch of ice traps that are in chests, about 6 of them in the whole game, I think. There's a setting you can do where you can enable those. And you can have... Oh! Interesting sound effect for this. Yeah, there's a setting that you can do, so like, I mentioned the Skulltulas aren't in the pool and all that. Those are all settings. So you can make shop sanity, like the shops have items that you would otherwise... Like, the shops aren't random, but you can make them random. The Skulltulas aren't random, but you can make them random. There's a setting for pots to be random, and there's also a setting for ice traps to be in everything that's... You can have as many ice traps as you want, so you can make all these chests that aren't... There's a bunch of... There's 2 invisible chests here, by the way. That's why chests appeared out of nowhere. Yeah, there's a troll setting you can do where you can just make all the useless items turn into ice traps. So this is the safe spot. Oh, except I pushed him back. Maybe we should grab those hearts, not that it matters. Unless I get hit again. Yeah, there's a bunch of different ways you can play Randomizer. One of the modes is called multi-world, where... So everything in this is a single world. Everything I do affects me, but if you have a multi-world, you can play with a friend online. And like, I could open a chest and my friend will get a hook shot or long shot. You know, just like... The worlds are connected, and like I might need to get my friend bombs, so my friends can open up a bomb check to get me hover boots or whatever. Like the logic is connected through both of the worlds, and you can also do it so there's ice traps, and you can get an ice trap for your friend and just kill them out of nowhere. You touch that enemy, you catch on fire. You can roll into this chest. It was a small chest, so I didn't need it, but I just wanted to show off that trick. Normally you need, like, bow and hammer to do that room. I don't actually know. It's been so long since I've done it the intended way, but... You can do it with... Oh, what? I didn't die. Here you have to push these mirrors. I'm doing it in this weird way, because if this guy hits me off... If he hits me, I'll stop pushing the mirror, and I can just, like, leave. But the mirror will keep turning. And if I do it in this order, I can get knocked off the mirror by both of them. It's sort of RNG whether they do it, but gotta give them a chance. Now we're gonna go fight the boss of the Spirit Temple. This is Twinrova. Oh, by the way, the light is going off my mirror shield. This is one of the items I got pretty early. It's basically only useful in this dungeon for these light puzzles and the boss. Alright, this enemy won't lose armor, so I can just sort of stay in this safe spot. Though it did kind of push me around, and that can be bad. So this is the enemy that's like some of the most RNG in the game. There's these two enemies, and they're gonna fly around, and I have to reflect one of their attacks to the other. And for that to work, they need to sort of line up. So what I'm gonna do is pull out my hook shot, and if I shoot at them, they'll sort of like spin in the air. It's sort of like they're like dodging my hook shot, and it's gonna keep them stuck in place. So I want them to be in a good position, and I want to keep the one that's not shooting in that position. But if one of them like goes behind me, I can only keep them in a good position. I can't make them go to a good position. So if they're just in a bad position, there's nothing I can do except move to minimize how bad a position I'll get. If that makes sense. So they were really nice to me today, except I just missed the fourth one, even though she was right in front of me. And now after 4, you just shoot her a couple times. They sped up how quickly in Randomizer, they sped up how quickly they like go to the next attack, and that just made it so that they can go to the... They can give you a 5th attack if they go faster than the cutscene to start the next phase goes. So if you just like spin them in place, they won't do that. Right here, you're gonna see me go back a bit and shoot. That just makes her spin and gets her to the next cycle faster. Oh, great. Well, this is fine. We'll just do another cycle. It's not supposed to grab that ledge. It's probably better that I didn't deal a little bit of damage. So the first... If she has no damage on her, she's very regular. She'll do 3 fire and 3 ice in a row. If you deal a little bit of damage to her, she kind of mixes it up, and you have to get 3 of the same in a row to get her to this phase. So if you do a little bit of damage, she might give you 2 ice and then 5 fires, and you have to just keep dodging the fire till you get the last ice. And it's sort of RNG when you get to kill her. So you usually want to try to 1-cycle her like I did, except it was a 2-cycle because the first cycle I just fell off like an idiot. Just for safety, I'll do this. Alright, so now we have Spirit and Shadow. I mean, Spirit and Forest. So I can't... Sorry, I'm just trying to think. Alright, so with things I can do, I can go to Gerudo Training Grounds, or back to Child. So I got a hint that Goron City is path to Volvagia. I did all of adult Goron City and didn't really get items. So I'm gonna go back to Child Goron City and get... There's a couple items there. There's also Lost Woods, which I didn't really do any of as Child. And that has a bunch of checks. I can do them as adult, but I can do more as Child, so... Oh. There is a song that lets you warp back to the Temple of Time, and that makes going between adult and child much faster, but it's still, like, very slow to switch back and forth a lot, so I try to minimize it. But sometimes you just gotta go back Child and get a bunch of checks. I don't think Gerudo Training Grounds would be awful, but Gerudo Training Grounds is another dungeon that you might have never seen if you only played this game casually, because there's nothing in it except the ice arrows, but there's like 20 chests in that dungeon. There's like a lot of checks in there. So it's really important for Randomizer, just because there's so much stuff in there, but it's also never... It's never a medallion or stone, so it's like kind of a... It's like a... It's a commitment to go there. It could be a waste of time, or it could have all the items. You just never know. But while I've got some business there potentially anyway. Actually, am gonna go there in a second. I just want to get this. There's this one check in Hyrule Castle that's sort of just out of the way, and a big part of routing is like going out here, and I don't have to walk back if I warp away from here. Also a hint stone. So just like knowing how to route these odd, sort of out of the way checks into your route. You need to be mindful of my stick count, but I can get some in Goron City as child, which is where I'm heading, so... Reverse my way through the maze. As a child, there's not the big moblins, there's just these, they're called mad scrubs? So there's a bombable wall there, but I only have one stick, so I won't be able to kill the Wolfos, so I'm just gonna leave it. I'll probably have to come back as adult. I actually want those. Alright, this is one of these nut upgrades as child, I think. So you have to pay that scrub. There's another mode called Scrub Sanity where all the scrubs give you items. That used to be in the weekly settings for a little bit, but they took it out. It's kind of interesting. But it's not in currently. Alright, big chest. Spirit Temple is foolish. Claim check. Oh, for the Bigoron's trading quest, we don't need to do it because we know it's nothing. But it's random somewhere along the line. There's a bunch of different items you can get, and some of the times you'll get closer or farther from the end. I think it starts at the Poacher's Saw. Normally it starts at way earlier than that, but sort of like a mercy rule for it. If you have to do it in the weekly settings, you only have to do like the last 4 items, but it's one of the like hinted at checks because it's just like so annoying. It's like a at least 5-minute commitment if you have to do the whole thing. And some people can't do it without the horse. It's always possible, but not always possible for like newer players. Like if you don't know how to backwalk, you might not be able to do that without the horse. I couldn't as a kid, for sure. Just double check my songs. Yeah, I don't have Sarias, so can't do Arunia. So we're gonna light these torches and you have to throw a bomb in the pot at the right time. Grab another stick. Now I can go kill that wolfos. Hopefully that didn't go in. I look at the faces when the right, like the flat mouth face looks at me. That's when you pull out the bomb. I can get it in. And then when the smiley face looks at you, you know you got the right item. Alright. So if we get another scale now, we can get the Din's Fire in Hyrule Field by diving down to it. That's one of the cool things about this game, is a lot of the items you can get to with different sets of items. So like, it's not strictly locked by iron boots or 2 scales. You can get either of those to get that item. That's what makes Randomizer interesting to me, is like there's more than one way to do a lot of the things. Sometimes you have to like remember all of them. Right, left, down. Like some of the items you can like do weird skips to with like 5 different items, and just like being able to know that is really cool, to me at least. Normally you have to do this game 3 times, but quality of life change with Randomizer is you only have to do it once. Really good quality of life change. Alright. So one more check here, and then we're probably just doing bottom of the well while we're child. Here we got side up. Already got that. Hopefully it's daytime. I think it's day, but... So bottom of the well is another one of those like non-required dungeons, sort of like a side dungeon. In the normal game you get the Lens of Truth, which you kind of need in vanilla if you don't know glitches, but in Randomizer, Lens isn't in logic except for one thing, which is getting out to Spirit Temple if you don't have the song. Did I ever go back and get Roof Guy? I can get it as child, but that might have been a huge oversight. Right now I'm collecting the cuckos. If you give this lady 7 cuckos, she'll give you a bottle in the normal game. You might see that in basically every speedrun ever. People don't like to do it in Randomizer because it takes a bit of time, but it's Sphere 0, so I'm not gonna skip it. Is 4 sticks gonna be enough? I maybe should have... Yeah, I definitely should have gone to the Deku shop while I was in the forest. I'll find a way to make it work. So you can get this guy on the roof as adult by just jumping up there. As child, you can just climb this. hold left and jump off. I think you'll grab here. I didn't get him, but he had nothing, so it didn't matter. Where's this chicken? Yeah, this is one of the longer checks, so that's why people don't do it, but... if there's ever an item here, it's usually like a big decider in races. If there's an item here, so a lot of people just skip this check till like 2 hours in because it takes so long. Granted, it's much faster if you're good at it, but there's a setting to make it so you don't need all 7. Alright, just a heart piece. I drained this well a while ago, but didn't go in. Till now. There's a bunch of chests here, and you can peek at a lot of them. I did not want to do that. This is why I hate C-stick. Somehow I hit C right, trying to hit C up. I can't keep breaking sticks. I'm just gonna... Should have equipped over the sticks. There's a key, there's a big chest. Big chest over here. You can see it poking through. Okay, Kokiri Sword. Now I don't need to care about my sticks, because I can just use Kokiri Sword. Deku Tree is required. So now I'm going to go back to the Kokiri Forest, because I can do that whole dungeon. Can look through there. You only need one key in this dungeon to get to the end of it. The extra keys get you to Skulltulas, which I mean, it'd be nice to have, but they're not fast, so I'm gonna skip them. Okay, that's strength 3. I already got that. That's a big chest, too. Boomerang, okay. There was a lot in the bottom of the well. So I made a play earlier by not coming here, but there was dungeons to do. So it made sense, and I came right back after I did those dungeons. Though I don't need Boomerang, I don't need to do Jabu necessarily, but... So I might not need that Boomerang, but it'll help me get skulls and do some other stuff. Alright, there's an invisible chest here. time it right, I can jump slash that guy before he goes back down. I'll do it. You have to be a little careful because you can soft lock here. If he like hits you into the hands, if you get caught by the hand while the dirt hits you, it can soft lock you. You have to save and quit. All that for one check. And it's a small chest. Oh, that's a big chest over there. I need this key first. So we're gonna need some... There's a bunch of invisible pits in this room. I know where they are, but sometimes you hit them anyway. I'm gonna try to avoid that. Is this big chest going to mess me up? Ah! Yep, it is. Okay, well there's a big chest behind there, so I'm gonna have to go back. There's a key in the last one. Usually you go against the wall and you can backflip and it will bring you to the right spot. I might have to just eyeball it, because I don't know if I can get to that wall, because the chest is too big. Normally there's a small chest there. Some things change a little bit with the chest size matches contents setting. It's kind of annoying, but it can be cool. Like, if the chest down here that I'm jumping over is big, you can use it to get out of that pit without climbing the wall, so it's like a time saver. There's like a skip you can do in the Shadow Temple, though it's not allowed. Because you can do the skip with, even if it's a small chest, but it's like multiple frame perfect, it's just like really hard, so they banned it on the grounds of it's too hard for the average player. So even when you can do it easily, it's still banned because it could give an unfair advantage to skilled people or some weird reasoning like that. Which I don't... why am I doing this? I don't think a trick should be considered too hard to do, but the powers that be do, so you have to play by their rules. Alright. So we're gonna go back through here. I'll get this last check, and I'll just buy a shield. So you need a Deku Shield and the Kokiri Sword to get into the Deku Tree, which is one of the changes for Season 5 that I don't really like, but normally you play with open Deku Tree, and you can just go... Oh, I don't have it yet. But now it's locked behind an item. So, the Wolfholes take 8 times as much damage if you hit them in the back. So you try trick them into turning around by letting them hit you, and then you just jump on their back and they die. Drop a stick. I don't need many more sticks, but that's like a very rare drop. Alright, so I'm gonna get lost, and that's gonna kick me back out to Kokiri Forest. Saves me from traveling through the whole Lost Woods. Go buy this shield. Normally I just have it, but I burned it, so... I'm going to equip it, because if you don't equip it, Mido will talk to you forever. Not literally forever, but he takes a long time to stop talking. Alright. Now we're at the first dungeon. 2 hours in. This is one of the better places for checks. So the reason why you need the sword is because in the old rule set, you could just enter here, and everyone basically did it as the first thing because it's so many checks in such a small amount of time that it was just like always worth going to very early. So it kind of just homogenized a lot of the runs, and that's why you need Kokiri's sword to get in here. Ooh, big chest. There's a small chest up here, or at least in vanilla it's small, but it's a big one here. This is like a secret one that a lot of people didn't know about till they started playing Randomizer. So I think it's used in Master Quest. That little area. The Stone of Agony does nothing. There's a setting where you can make the invisible holes. They'll be like rumble if you're playing on N64 with a rumble pack, or there'll be like an indicator for VC. Please turn away. Nope. You're supposed to kill those guys, but you can just get by them if you just stop moving when they look at you. They'll go away eventually. Yeah, if you go over a hidden hole, actually I need this. This is another flame storage moment. It saves a little bit of time to do it. Oh. Might have lost time, so I have to kill this enemy without using my sword now. So we jump down. Land up here. Oh, the camera's freaking out. Get this skull. So that's our 20th. Now we're gonna do a ground jump again. It's been a while, but that'll let us just jump up to this ledge, and I have this stick lit, so I don't have to find a way to light it up top. This puzzle, 23 is number 1. Alright. Get to the toughest boss in the game. The quick kill on this boss is actually kind of tough. Not really the toughest, but if you mess it up, it's slow. Throw a knot, stab it, and then you immediately throw the second knot, then you can stab it twice and it dies. Oh, you might notice I'm doing a jump slash. I don't know if I ever explained this. In this game, they forgot to program the crouch stab damage value. So it just, the way I believe it works is when you use an item, it sets the damage value to a certain number based on which item you use, but they forgot to set it for the crouch stab. So if the last attack you did was a jump slash, say, it doesn't set it to a new number, it just uses the crouch stab. So you get to preserve, it's called a power crouch stab, you get to preserve your crouch stab damage even though you're not doing jump attacks. So you get to like store the damage from a Deku Stick jump attack, which does 4 damage, compared to a normal Kokiri sword slash, which deals 1. And it just lets you really quickly kill bosses and other enemies. And it doesn't matter which item you use to stab, it will save the damage. There is a check at Night Market, but it's gonna be hard. I have to wait to get there, so just gonna leave it behind. Go adult and see what happens. So I have the Forest Medallion, which means when I turn adult, Sheik is going to be waiting at the monument to give me a song. So if it's Saria's song, which I think, yeah, I got a hint saying it was. This opens up a couple checks. All is child. So I'm just going to go back and do those real quick. Looks a little weird, but sort of just while they're on my mind. Because I don't think I'm gonna come back to Child again in this route naturally. Like, unless I'm required to. So this is just gonna be the last 2 checks I do, so might as well just do it now and not have to worry about it. I could have saved as adult. That would have been a cool thing to show off. So if you save as adult and go child, then I can, if I don't like these 2 items, like if they're nothing, I can just reset and it will sort of like save scum being adult. You very rarely get to do that in Randomizer, but it's a cool thing you can do. So, we came here earlier, opened this door, and lit the torches. There's another check you can get if you play Saria's song, or Darunia, the boss of the Gorons. This is normally where you get strength. But here it's just another check. And Goron City is path to Volvagia, so there's a chance this is Hammer? Yeah, this is why I did this. You always want to full clear your hinted locations, because even if you find an item there, there could be another one. And I need that hammer to beat Volvagia. So we're 2 hours and 10 minutes in. I have the hammer and can do all of Fire Temple. And I know where the item I need to get into Shadow Temple is, but I need a scale or boots to get that item. So we're coming to the end. Fire Temple could be quick, but I'm going to end up full clearing it anyway, just because if the item's in there, I don't want to leave it behind. But if I get hover boots, I'll just do as little of Fire Temple as I can. Alright. So I don't have the tunic for Fire Temple. Another reason why I'm getting all these hearts is okay, I do have Scarecrow songs, checking. For each heart you get, I think 4 seconds of heat timer. So you can do Fire Temple with 5 hearts. You can do it with less if you put a fairy in a bottle. I actually don't have any bottles, which is weird for 2 hours into a seed, because there's 4 of them in the game. So I can't do that. Because if you die with the fairy in a bottle, even if it's to fire damage, it revives you, so it lets you get more time. But I can do this dungeon with 5 hearts. I have 20 skulls, so I don't need to grab that. So I did a jump slash with Master Sword. This enemy, even if I had Goron Sword, I would switch to Master Sword for it. Because for some reason it shares a damage table with Ganon, and just takes twice as much damage from the Master Sword. Very strange, but I don't have to make sense of it, I just know how to use it to go fast. Oh, I should mention the door I went through earlier, like on the... I'm coming out this one on the other side of the door I entered. Usually you need a key to get in that door. They took that off in Randomizer, so there's 1 extra key in the dungeon. That's because there's like only one way to do Fire Temple if you don't take that key off. It's just always gonna be the same. Because this dungeon has 9 keys in it, and 9 locked doors. Because you have to save, every time you save a Goron you get a key, so they just had to make everything new keys. Which is a neat concept, but it sort of makes it one of the more annoying ones for Randomizer, because there's like there's only 4 or 5 items in here. And it's like a big dungeon with a lot of checks. But they're all keys. So it's one of the worst places to come in Randomizer, just because there's nothing here but keys. But sometimes it's a very quick dungeon, because you can get the boss key early and just be done with it. It's one of the slower dungeons for sure. that's one of the things I like about Randomizer, is that some of the dungeons are really fast, like Deku Tree and Dodongo's Cavern. You like almost always do those in every seed, regardless of whether you need to or not, just because they're so fast and there's so many checks. And then there's dungeons like Forest Temple, where you have to do the whole thing every time, and this, where like you have to do the whole thing every time, but if the key is early, the boss key can just be done. Like if I find iron boots and then the boss key right after, I'm not finishing the dungeon. So like I don't know what I'm doing in this dungeon till I'm in it. And that's really, it makes it more interesting. Peek at that. That looks like a little small chest. Alright, I got one try at this trick. Oh, I have a weird angle, so I'm just not gonna store my ground jump. Just do it like this. Then I can here. Normally you have to push that block, it's kind of slow, but you can just ground jump up there. If you don't have bombs, you need strength to get through there. It's one of those weird things that never comes up, but when it does, you go halfway through this dungeon and realize you can't beat it. It's just another weird thing you have to keep track of. Oh, that's a big boss key. This key. Yeah, you have to just, I could maybe, if the right chests were keys, I could have like skipped this, but if this is a key, then I probably need it, and going back is super slow, so just, you kind of just always do the same thing with fire until the boss key, then there's a huge fork of continue the dungeon or skip it. Since we're already this deep, I kind of just want to full clear it, and if nothing's here, putting on these boots, because if you don't have enough speed, you'll just like fall down back to the beginning of the dungeon. It's super slow. Like you have to, sometimes, I've fallen down here before, and you just have to climb up the dungeon again. Wastes about a minute and a half. Not fun. If you see me pull out the ocarina like this, I'm just trying to hit my hover boots button, which normally in this game you have to pause and equip the boots. Oh, I pulled this out, I don't need to go down here. But as a quality of life change in Randomizer, they made it so you can press the D-pad, which doesn't do anything normally, and you can just quick equip the boots. So if you're in Water Temple and you need to equip and unequip iron boots 20 times, you don't have to keep pausing to do it. It is a really nice change. But Ocarina's on the down button, so I accidentally fat finger hit them both a lot. Which is why it's much worse with iron boots, because those slow you down always. Sometimes hover boots are fine. But if I ever get iron boots early in a seed, I usually just assume I'm going to get a bad time because I'm going to waste a lot of time equipping them on accident. And this is like a hidden room to get, there's 2 Skulltulas and a chest with 200 rupees. I think I have 20, but just go through it anyway. Yeah, 21. I'm gonna hit the switch and it's gonna show me the chest. If it's a small chest, there's a key. Guess I'll grab it. You can get this without hookshot, by the way, but it's a bit faster if you just hookshot up there. I think in the vanilla game, I think you're meant to need long shot for this, because the timer's just really tight. But combined with rolling and getting it really fast, it doesn't seem that bad. You can get it without the long hookshot too, by just rolling, but that's certainly not intended. It's just way too tight a time window for it to be intended. Skull here. Should have grabbed that heart, but I'll probably just grab a fairy before entering the boss room. Alright, so there's always going to be an extra key, but I haven't gotten the boss check yet, and sometimes the boss drops a key. Like sometimes it's required to go back to the boss room, kill the boss, and then come back up here to finish the dungeon. So and there's a key you skip. You can just backwalk through the fire there. Alright. I'm gonna drop the warp magic here. Save. This is gonna bring you back to the bottom of the dungeon where the boss is. I'm gonna fight the boss, and then if the boss doesn't drop a key, there's 1 key left in the dungeon, and I'll know that the hammer chest is a key. If the boss does drop a key, then I can just take the warp magic back to the top. Right, grab some bombs and a fairy. If I had a bottle, I'd bottle a fairy just for safety. I don't. Oh, I do have a bottle with a bug in it. Well, whatever. Well, I'll just save to be safe. So you might be thinking, but I don't have a ton of time, and this boss can take a while. There's a speedrun strat for the boss. Hopefully I don't get the bad luck. You can kill it even if you get the bad luck, but it's a bit tougher, and I could mess it up. So when Volvolgia goes into the ground, there's a second body that's in the ground, and by dropping bombs in a precise place, you can damage that body. So I can deal damage to her. If I deal the right amounts of damage. Oh, she got up. Please show me your face. So I must have been too slow. So So I'm probably just gonna burn up. Unless she gets up really fast. Yeah. This is why you grab the fairy, but I forgot that I had a bottle. It's one of those things where like your equipment is different every time. That was a bit unlucky. So close to. Like if I shot her with the first arrow, which I could have, but I just like messed it up. But that's why I saved. Like I don't have to farm those bombs again. Just go back and try again. And like I saved right before. Like I saved warp to the bottom, so I just have. I don't lose anything by trying again. I can try as many times as it takes. If you do it right, she never gets up and flies around. She just pops her head up 3 times and you kill her on the 3rd time. Hopefully that hits. Like you can hear the sound effect when the bomb hits her, but if she pops up out of this hole, that's where the problems start, because the bombs will hit her head as well as the body in the hole. How did she get up again? Okay. Hit her a little earlier this time, but still might have problems. I might burn up again, but she's dead and she'll be dead again. I just won't save quit. I'll just let myself die and then save. Because I do need to figure out what this item is. If I do see that it's a key, then I can die and use the warp magic. So it might have actually been faster to let it kill me, but I don't think so. Yeah, I have 2 extra keys for that dungeon, which makes sense because I skip a key. But I don't need to get that right now. Well, I guess there's not really a much better time to get it. But this is another check in a hinted location. But this is for a Queen Doma, so it probably isn't anything. Yeah. So if I go, now that I have the Shadow and Spirit medallions, if I go back to the Temple of Time, I get a check. Unfortunately, that's super slow, because I don't have the song for it, so... What we're gonna do now is go to Gerudo Training Grounds, and the way we're gonna do that is called Reverse Wasteland. So, this is not in logic, but it is allowed. Normally you go from Gerudo Training Grounds through the Haunted Wasteland with the Lens of Truth to get out to the Desert Colossus, but if you know the way, all the like safe zones are still here. You just have to be able to navigate it without it, because the ghost appears over here, so it can't guide you if you start from the back. But we know the way, so we're just gonna go. And we're gonna wind up at Gerudo Training Grounds. This is a little faster if you don't need checks. We did actually need checks at the lake, but they're not like fast checks. They're not particularly slow. It's a bit disorienting sometimes. And then if you have the hover boots, you can go through this. Now we wind up here, and we're going to get caught by this guard because we don't have a Gerudo card. But we have hookshot, so get out. Oh, that's a big chest. Really? They can catch you if you do this, but trying to get into that door. I guess I'll show this off. You're not allowed to do this in races, but you can, if you do it precisely, you can... It's been a while since I've done this. You can clip up through here. Whatever, it's not worth showing off. It is possible to just clip up to the top of that. Wasn't able to do it. It doesn't help with anything. Unless you need to go up there, but there's nothing up there. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to get into this corner, and I'm going to hookshot the guard, and it's going to jump up onto the torch and get stuck. And what that's going to let me do is I can just stab the wall, and my sword, like, coming back is going to hit the guard and just kill it really quick. That guard has, like, a special attack where if they hit you with it, it just throws you back in jail. So I just want to keep her in place and kill her real quick. So you notice I got the Gerudo card from killing one. Normally you're supposed to kill 4. That's sort of a quality of life change they made. Just like cut this side quest in half. Jump up here. Yeah, just because every time you come here, you just have to kill all the guards, and it's kind of slow. So they just made this place a little less tough to get into. Gerudo's letter. I don't like that. So the reason I don't like that is it opens up an entire dungeon that's optional, but now it's open. If it's not open to me, I don't have to worry about maybe finding an item there, because I can't get there anyway. So I don't, like, you don't worry about things that you can't do, but now that I can do it, I have to worry about it. I would love to have finished the seed never getting that item, because it's really far out of the way, but now, if I go child again, I'm probably going to do that dungeon. But that being said, it's probably the last thing I would check. I guess Ice Cavern would be after it, so that would be the last thing I check, but... Ice Cavern is blocked by that same check. So do a stab to get the right distance to hopefully get past this firewall. It didn't work. It's fine. It looks really cool when you get to just like recoil past here and don't have to run around. It's also faster. I'm going to collect all these rupees, and that's going to open the next room. Alright, bunch of Wolfos in this room. Make them all charge. And hopefully get a bunch of them to turn around. Kill them all at once. So this switch opens up a door, and that door is hidden behind this giant block. So this is one of the other places you come back to. Like sometimes you come here super early and don't have second strength, so you can't go here. So like sometimes you do have to double dip this place. Thank God that went quickly. So these enemies have really bad hitboxes. So sometimes you like stab them and they're just invincible. Invisible chest. And key. So in the center of this, there's a big maze with a bunch of keys. It's not really a maze because there's only one way through it, but I guess there's two ways through it, but only one way to the end. It's not a maze if you know how it goes. But it's called the key maze. So that's why I'm collecting keys. You need 7 of the 9 keys to beat it, but the logic thinks you need all 9. So this is another place where key logic can make you need extra items that you don't need. Okay, light arrows. So we had to come here no matter what, so that's good. But since chest size matches content, we can kind of see, like, okay, there's another key on the other side of that wall. This chest in the middle is a small chest. You can see better from below, so that's why I'm not peeking now. Some people just like come in here and peek at the middle just so they know how many keys they have to worry about collecting, but I don't really know how to peek the right way, so I just collect the keys. So normally this key you need a hammer and bow and a bunch of items, but this is another one where you can just like roll into the fire and grab it through. Bombs. So if I collect all these rupees, it opens up a door and it gets to a room with a check that you need iron boots to do. I'm not doing that because the item I'm looking for is iron boots. Saving because this room can crash because there's lots of actors in it. Oh goodness. These enemies are really annoying because they can jump around and dodge your attacks actually pretty well. They're like Stalfos, but they jump around instead of turtling. They're called Dino Fools. Alright, but yeah, so since the item I'm looking for is iron boots, I know that it can't be iron boots locked because it would be iron boots. I can't really tell. But I have a lot of keys. So I can go through the maze and see. Yeah, it only takes a couple keys to get to a spot where you can kind of just see everything. There's a big chest back there, so I have to go through at least some of it. So those are all small chests. So now I'm gonna do that trick. So I'm gonna equip this, save. This is gonna warp me to Fire Temple. And I'm gonna just do this last check, and if the item's not the item I'm looking for, I just warp back. I just save quitting. Or just quitting without saving, rather. This requires... me to kill another Flare Dancer. Restore my Master Sword damage. Even though this is the first one you're supposed to fight normally, it's a little tougher because there's stairs here, but it's like still an easy fight. Like, you don't have hammer the first time you fight this, so you're normally supposed to like grab it with hookshot or something, but it's way faster with hammer, so that's why we do it. Right, now the top of the Fire Temple is normally the hammer chest, but we'll see what it is. This is one of the tougher chests to get in the game. There's actually a hint for this one. It's just so deep in Fire Temple, which doesn't normally have good stuff. And it's small, so not what we're looking for. Okay, so I actually want to see how many keys we have. I guess 3. And I know that, yeah, so the tough check to get is another key, so don't need to worry about it. Where's my horse? That song calls the horse to you, but if the geometry in the place is weird enough, she can get like stuck at the bottom of the steps or something. So there's nothing you can do except just go away and call her again. I mean, I could look around for her. She's around, but it's just faster to go up here. Alright, so we're gonna do Horseback Archery. So normally you have to play this game twice, but they set it up so if you get the high score, if you get 1500 on the first try, you don't have to do it twice, so I'm gonna try to do that. I say missing the first. This is another thing where way tougher for me on VC than on N64, just because they made aiming worse. But if I get the pots, I can do it. Usually I just like go fast with the first ones. Why is it? Why am I still going? That's a weird soft lock. I've never seen that before. Glad I save warped. Like I did a save that would save warp me back. But yeah, the minigame's supposed to end when you run out of arrows or get to the end of the track, but it just didn't. That was so weird. Well, whatever. It's not that hard to do. Maybe I can redeem myself and get a better score. Did I... Usually if you point the camera at something, the horse comes from the other side. So I thought I was doing it right, but... Hopefully it's not like having two horses in memory that messed up the game, because that's going to happen again. Though it shouldn't ever do that, but... I mean, if we discover something here... Okay, sweet. You have to be on the horse to talk to the lady. What is going on? I've never seen this before. Whatever. It's a weird old game. I'm gonna try to just play the horse song and get my horse at the bottom. That might be what's do. That's the only thing I can think of. Is like something weird's going on with the horse. Where are you? What we're looking for still is second scale or iron boots, and it could be anywhere really. Except for water temple, but it could be in Jabu, it could be in ice caverns. That's probably where we're going after this. I said last thing we'd do, but there's like not much to do else. Did not get many hundreds. Let's run 5 more. Guess I can take a couple. Is she just not here? This is so bizarre. I guess I just can't do these checks. So if it's here, I'll be a little upset because I can't. Something's just weird. I kind of just want to check the spoiler log. I'm going to check the spoiler log for those checks real quick. And if the thing is there, then there's nothing I can do. Gerudo. Hyrule Fortress. Okay. Those 2 checks aren't anything. So I am just going to move on. there's like a blue potion and like hearts or something, I don't know. I already forgot what it was, because I don't need it. Alright. So there's a check in here. But it's small, so I don't need it. Now we're gonna go to the lake and there's 2 checks here, and then after that there's basically just Ice Cavern and Jabu that I can think of. And there's some other things, like there's shooting the sun. Hopefully I do this all fast enough. So when it turns day, hopefully that's the right one. There's a bird up here that's gonna knock me off the ladder if I don't kill it. But I think that was the bright bird that I killed. Right, just a heart piece. For this guy to come back. But yeah, if I can get back to that center island before daybreak, which I can easily do with the song, I can shoot the sun, and that'll be a check. That's normally where you get fire arrows. I can get up there with long shot. They changed fishing. You might have noticed earlier I didn't get the big fish. I'm not getting the big fish either. There's a certain size you need, and it just makes it so most of the fish get you the prize, so it's just easier to get the quickest fish. I'm gonna try to run to the center thing. I can play the warp song, and if I'm running out of time I will, but time of day doesn't pass when you warp, so it's better to waste more time, because you're gonna have to wait anyway. So this guy brings you over there. Let's see if it brings me there fast enough. Doesn't look like it will. This line got so high so fast. Alright, that's annoying. Alright, well, we can't do it, so I'll have to route that back in somehow. This isn't a good spot. Yeah, I'm gonna go back to the Temple of Time now. That's going to give me a check. Because I have so the light arrow check you get when you have Shadow and Spirit medallions. So I have those and haven't been back there, so I'll just get a check for being there. I get the 20 skull check on my way through here. And then I can set it to night and then warp back and... oh, jeez. I still don't Did I get a hint for... No, I did get a hint for 50, I just didn't mark it down. I don't need to get skulls anymore. I guess if this wastes enough time of day, but it won't. Yeah, if it's not... Oh, actually... Okay, where's the horse this time? Yeah, we're approaching the 3-hour mark, so I might just start cheating. So we can get in 3.5 hours. Like, Shadow's a kind of a long dungeon. That's the one we have to do next, and it's the one that you always have to do the whole thing because you need all the keys. It's one of those, so... if it's not in this check, or the Ganon's Castle Ferry, then I'm just gonna pull up the spoiler log and start cheating. I would be at Jabu by now if I didn't get soft locked out of that minigame, so don't feel too bad about it. I'd be farther along, but that's sort of just out of my control, unfortunately. I've never seen that happen before. I know it's the bingo card meme or whatever, but I've legitimately never seen that. Yeah, this is basically what happens at the end of most randomizers. If there's not a bottleneck early, there's just like you have the whole access to the whole game, and there's just like a needle in a haystack. You need one item, and it could be anywhere. So, just how quickly can you route everything? Magic 2. Okay. So what am I'm gonna start checking the okay, so it's not there. Okay, it is in Ice Cavern, the Iron Boots. So I'm just gonna go there. Which is about where I'd be if I was just like if I was through Jabu by now, I'd be looking to go there next. So we did have to cheat a little, but we also got soft locked a bit. And this was definitely a really spread out seed. Alright, so this is technically not in logic. Is this guy gonna be in my way? Yeah. Alright, so you get Mido out of the way by playing Saria song. That's sort of the logic here. But And the Great Fairy reward is the scale. So yeah, both of the things that would get me there are locked behind here. So not much I could do about it. So this is another trick that hopefully I can do quickly. It's called Mweep Skip. Normally you have to move King Zora out of the way. But with a precise jump you can get around him. Hopefully I can do it. It's a tough trick. There's a couple ways to do it. I wanted to stab. Got a little jump. Backflip, backflip, shield, turn, don't scoot. Okay. Stab, shield, SS once, and jump. There we go. And we're past. So normally I have to go child, hand in the letter that I got. And that moves him out of the way, and he stays moved out of the way for adult. But, which is like really interesting for Randomizer that they didn't, this is going to give me the gold scale. Interesting for Randomizer that they didn't just make that so he's always on moved. So like, it makes an adult thing require a child thing. Like you have to do an action as child to do something as adult, normally. But with that precise jump, which isn't a glitch, it's just a precise jump, you get to skip it all, so. But yeah, if I was... If I was doing this normally, I would have ended up going to Jabu and getting that either before or after, so I would have gotten it about this time. I still feel kind of bad about having to cheat, but just trying to make sure we get in under the 3.5 hour estimate. So with that scale, we can dive low enough in the water to get that fire. And that will let us do Shadow Temple. I definitely should have saved a carrot. An hour and a half ago we looked at this, and now we can get it. Oh my goodness, crap. Alright, now we do the Shadow Temple. Probably my least favorite temple for Randomizer, just because you always have to do the whole thing. It's not super interesting, but it's a good temple if you can get to it early. The problem is that you can never get to it early because you need so many items and a song to get to it. But if the stars align that you can get to it super early, then it's fun to do because there's a ton of checks. But 9 times out of 10 you get here and you're in go mode. It's probably not that many, but often you get here and you're in go mode and there's so many checks and they don't matter. You're just looking for keys. So one of these skulls is real. I used the Lens of Truth to see it. You don't really need the Lens of Truth, you can just like guess and run away, but it makes it a little faster. All the stuff used to be locked behind Lens of Truth logic, but now it's not because people didn't like getting a hint for like Death Mountain creators required to beat the game, then you go there and all there is the Lens of Truth and you can just like do all this without it. So they took that off of the races, but it's still in for like normal logic. That like the hidden stuff you can't get unless you have, it's not in logic without lens. So it'll give you lens if you need to come here. Oh, and that is the soft log. I mentioned that at the child one, but I got it at the adult one. At least this enemy's at the beginning of the dungeon. But it's still annoying because I have to go all the way back. Yeah, Shadow Temple is sort of broken up into a bunch of sections, and you need a key to get to the next one. If we get the right, like, super early keys, we can skip the back section, but that never happens. It's very rare. Oh, you might notice I'm jump slashing into that. Really? That's both to set up the jump slash damage, and the hands can't grab you while you're in the air. So it triggers the hands grabbing me to make the guy come up from the ground, the dead hand. But they don't grab me, so I'm free to attack him right away. But it's still kind of RNG dependent, because if he pops up in the middle of the hands, you can't damage him because the hands will grab you, so still gotta wait for him to slowly get out of the hands. Certainly there's ways to manipulate it that you can do, but if he just pops up in the middle, there's really nothing you can do about it. Invisible wall. I'm jump slashing at these enemies because they're so tall that your sword will hit their head and then they'll become vulnerable again when it gets to the bottom. So you'll just get a double hit. Otherwise they take 2 jump slashes worth of damage. But you can get both those hits in the one. I know this check has to be a key, so I'm not gonna look at it. Like you can see this chest through the wall. Normally you would peek and skip it, but I haven't gotten a key and I need a key to get to the next room, so this has to be a key. Otherwise I'm locked. So right here, you can see that skull through the wall. If I use Din's Fire, it's going to kill all the skulls in this room. And I can just run through. You can also do it with a nut, but sometimes it doesn't stun them all and you have to like pause to equip it. So if I have Din's Fire equipped, which I usually do because I open the dungeon with it, I usually use it there just to not have to deal with those enemies because they're kind of slow and annoying. There's a bunch of invisible platforms here. Normally you just come here to get a Skulltula and some rupees. In like the vanilla game, it's like a hidden room, but there could be a key in here, so it's probably required. Some pretty good shooting. Alright, these are small. I didn't have to come here, but couldn't really know that. Navigate these platforms. You're supposed to like land on that platform that's falling, or wait for it to rise up, but you can just kind of land on this ledge. Sometimes that ledge that I was just on likes to just kick you off for no reason, so I kept my boots on just in case. Grab these rupees. There is a way I could like sneak to the end of this dungeon that's not allowed, but if I was like far enough behind I might cheat and do it, but it's kind of risky too, because you still need the boss key, so there's no guarantee it saves time. Avoiding out here is not bad, because if you fall in the next room, you'll respawn at the last door you entered, so avoiding out here sets that flag as up here, which means I'll spawn a little closer to this platform. I'm just gonna equip the lens and not worry about it, but usually I try to do this without the lens, and if you fall it's a big waste of time if it kicks you back to the other side of the room. Bunch of invisible spikes in this room. Not that it really matters for us, but there's also invisible targets. I kind of know where they are, but it's just faster to use lens since I have it equipped anyway. Kill all those. If you get the rupees, you open this door. If you kill the enemies, you get this chest. So, don't go to Fire Temple. Dispel that. Drop the warp magic. So, this might messing up the timing. Let's just use a real bomb. So inside this pot there's a check. Yeah, I'm just trying to go fast. It's causing me to go slower. And to get out of this room you have to kill all those enemies, or you can just warp back. It's a little faster to warp back. Visible check here. So to do this room, you need iron boots usually, but if you have the right movement and don't get hit, you can skip all that. But whatever, we can just go slow, I guess. And you can just avoid the fans, but usually means going slower and waiting. There's a quick way to go through if you don't get hit by the spike trap. I wasn't able to do it. It looks really cool if you can pull it off. So we need a key and the boss key in the next room. And then we can skip the back room. But that's kind of unlikely, so... So I have all the small keys I need, but I still need the boss key. Okay, just... You can jump up to this wheel. It's a little faster than... What? So normally there's a block that you push, and that gets you to the front of the temple. And the block also lets you grab that ladder. You can hookshot the ladder, or you can just jump up to the wheel. It's not hard to jump up to the wheel. I don't know why I failed it twice, but... happens. Especially when you're trying to go fast, everything that's easy is way harder. Such is the nature of things. Alright, so there's these two enemies. There's a Stalfos, and another one pops up later. If you kill them, it lags the game for a frame, so I just let it fall off. Then I go into this corner and just look away, and then the second one doesn't fall. I do need... Actually, no I don't. I've got Scarecrow Song. Alright. So I'm just gonna get off this boat. If you mess up and fall in the river, it's like a 2-minute time loss, because you have to go back to the beginning of the room and ride the boat again. There's an invisible maze here. I know where the walls are. You can kind of peek at the chests through the walls, but you can also just burn them. Right, it's the last check. That was another invisible hand monster. And we get the boss key. Now we just go to the boss, and then that's the last medallion, and then we can go to Ganon. So it might be a little bit later, like it might take a little bit more than 10 minutes to do Ganon and this boss, but pretty good considering we got last check and I ended up needing to do bottom of the well, Gerudo training. I would have had to do Jabu or Ice Cavern. What am I doing? There's a bunch of invisible platforms. If you know where to go, you can just go through, but I just, for some reason, wasn't thinking and turned the wrong way. Okay, so we're rounding it out. This is this boss, which pretty fast if you do it right. Oh, I guess there is RNG. So this boss is invisible, but we kind of just know where he is because his hands are visible and his body just kind of fits with his hands. He fists you, he can't be hit, so RNG. If you have good quick spins, you can kind of like lock him in place. Shouldn't be too many more. And a jump slash to finish him off. Yeah, we had all the warp songs except the one to the Temple of Time, which we had to go back and forth, child and adult, a lot. And our save warps were pretty awful. So we couldn't really get to use those. Yeah, this wasn't the nicest seed, but probably gonna get 340-ish. Oh, so I'm gonna go through Kakariko and it's gonna give me a song cutscene. I don't need the song, but I can't like not get the cutscene other than like to avoid it, so just gonna get this song real quick. This is the fastest way to the market. Oh, well that's the song, so guess not all is bad. Update my tracker, not that it matters. Because we are in go mode. We have everything we need. And we beat the last dungeon, so we're just finishing off the game. Now, I guess if we were far enough behind, this isn't like super important to do because it's not like the randomizer part's kind of just over. This is just like a formality, so I'm not really worried about showing off fighting the last boss with all the items. It's like not super interesting, but now it is part of the race. Like if this were a weekly, you'd have to do this, so might as well do it. I'm gonna save because you can crash in this room. Happened to me a couple weeks ago. I lost 2 medallions worth of progress. And I was probably gonna get a pretty good time in the race because no one had finished yet, so. I didn't think I was getting first, but it was a non-zero chance. And I crashed, so I couldn't finish. That would still be doing 2 dungeons. A little scared of that room. That went fast. Alright, now we got 2 iron knuckles. Be a little careful. Because if you... Oh! He didn't die. Like these steps push you back. So like, you can't get to the safe spot and stay in it. Just keep hitting the steps. I wasn't expecting to wake the second one up. Like, you try to kill the first one before waking up the second one. But it doesn't really matter, because you get your full health back when you enter the boss room, so... Light arrows, bottle, Roar's Wind. Roar's Wind's just so if I die I can just don't have to climb the tower again. I shouldn't die, but it's sort of like a safety strat, just like waste 10 seconds to not waste 2 minutes in the event of catastrophe. And oh, if you don't have the light arrows, well, even if you do, Ganon tells you where they are. You don't need them for any other check, so sometimes you come up here and Ganon just tells you where to go. So it's like one item that you don't need, so it's not, you're not gonna like, you're never gonna need it to get here, so there's never gonna be a hint for it. But Ganon always tells you a hint for it. It's one of those like quality of life things. Oh, he's getting up. You can one cycle him. It's way easier with the Goron sword, which I don't have. He sort of randomly... Okay, he does this. Just shoot him. Alright, minute left. Probably takes more than a minute to kill him from here, but we're close. It's very important that you jump attack into this cutscene, because the Master Sword deals twice as much damage to Ganon as any other item. Every other item except the Deku Stick, which you can't use as adult, is hard-coded to deal 1 damage, and Master Sword is coded to deal 2. So we're going to store that that Master Sword jump attack to deal 4 damage. And we're just going to very quickly mow through Ganon with Hammer, but it's going to deal 4 times as much damage if you do crouch stabs. Quick ones. Jump attack his head. Now he goes way faster, so, but you got your Master Sword and you can do jump attacks and whatever else you need to do. Oh, I missed. Ganon also hits you with like Iron Knuckle 4 hearts worth of damage, but 2 since I have double strength, but that bad. Alright, so now there's just this cutscene and the final slash. And time stops exactly when that slash happens. But I couldn't press the button. But yeah, so 3 hours, 31 minutes. Probably like 20 seconds, 30 seconds. That's Ocarina of Time Randomizer. Did have to cheat a bit at the end, but I also kind of got trolled by the game soft locking, which is still the weirdest thing I've ever seen. But it is what it is. Yeah, I got to show off sort of what Randomizer is. Hopefully I was entertaining. Tend to ramble at times, but sort of on theme, right? We're just meandering through the game, trying to find the items. We don't know where we're going. We don't know what we'll find there. So just this music is always fun. But yeah, okay. I'm gonna be done. Thank you all for watching, and good night.